What? Hello, love. Oh my gosh. So, the lunar eclipse, okay? Solar eclipse came through almost 2 weeks ago, and what has happened is that most of you have gone through something that's like you were tripped up in a way. So you were you broke something, you shattered something, something stopped, something ended, something died, something changed. So everybody out there right now had something sudden come out of the blue and kind of rock you in some sort of way. And what I can tell you is that this is something that we will look back on as one of the greatest moments of our life, and like where you're suddenly going to see something that came up during the downtime, you know, because when you get sprained or strained or broken or fired, or you know, you stop. When these things happen, they stop you. So if you had been following along as I have been guiding you to do for weeks now, if you did take the time for you and retreat, and possibly even still are, because this is a long transition, so you very well may still be in that, but do know that it's the greatest blessing. There's not 1% of it that's bad news. There's not 1% of it that means doomsday and your path has changed and everything is flipped upside down, in a bad way or in a negative way. You know, a lot of people are seeing things right now that feel like the collapse, and that feel like everything's actually falling apart. And actually this feels like the end, and oh my gosh, and oh my gosh, and oh my gosh. So most people are kind of feeling that energy. And but that's not the truth of it. That's not the end of the story. There's actually this other beautiful and amazing new thing that's just on the other side of this catastrophe, death, breaking apart, shattering, spraining. On the other side of it is something that is what you can tell. This is, I've been in retreat for like a week because I sprained my ankle. I guess I probably could have shared this first. So I've been in retreat because I sprained my ankle. It was so out of the blue, unexpected, right before I'm supposed to be moving. All this stuff going on, really feeling like everything was so in control, and then I twist my ankle, and it was my very first injury, and I'm really protective of breaking or injuring body parts. Like, I'm someone who has a lot of caution when it comes to anything that could harm our bodies, or you know, have end results that depend on how you take care of this now. So things with the body kind of have me on hyper alert, and I've never had this happen, so I did everything you were supposed to do. You know, I was like, that foot was above the heart level for like almost a week. You know, I just did everything. I just shut down. I actually even unplugged from, I haven't even like handled anything with business, which everybody's probably like, oh my gosh, where are you? I couldn't even like make that happen. You know, I just got pulled back. I got unplugged, pulled off of the internet. I just felt this huge calling to not do anything work related, to not delve even 1% into the work arena, and instead to open to something. And that's what I had given you guys on you know, I sent that message that, you know, we're being pulled back into this retreat and into this alone space so that we can hear something, because there's something about our unique journey that's going to be told to us when we retreat. And what I can tell you too is, when I wrote that had not happened to me yet. I don't even think I had sprained my ankle yet. So everything I wrote several weeks ago was very foretelling for me too. Like, and I do that anyway, where I write stuff and I don't know what I'm talking about, but when it smacks back in my life so much, especially like this one, I definitely kind of take notice to, wow, I was just talking about this, dude, and that's exactly what happened. And the visions for my unique forward motion have completely been implanted in me as full-on knowing. So it was an amazing time, but I am just now trying to make it back into reality. So I am a little off. I am a little frazzled around computers and a little like, you know, hopefully I can communicate in the best ways, because I have been in a space where I have enough information now to write a whole book on everything of what it's going to be like as we are now in the exact moments of, like, it's really, really happening right now, where some people are taking the first steps into the new earth energies. And what I really got to learn over this time about what that means is that, you know, bringing in those new energies and, you know, all these things that we've been saying, like bringing in the new earth, bringing in the new world, the bringers of it. And once you fully are walking these steps, you understand even more about what that means. But what it really means is that you are vibrating at that. So that means you're bringing the energy. So you're bringing it because you're vibrating it. And this is why we can never, you know, magnetize things in our life yet unless we are vibrating in this certain way. And what I love too is that, you know, because we are becoming more humble beings and, you know, really wanting to look at things instead of hiding them. And that's been the big part of this first lunar cycle, has been really about that. And really kind of looking at things and not denying things anymore, hiding things, or just saying they're too difficult to look at. But what has happened is, because we are now, there are now human beings in a brand new space that feels like nothing you can ever imagine. And in kind of summing it up quickly just for this first video, but I'm going to be talking about it so much more. That's why I was like, I hope nobody's told you yet, because this is so exciting. But you know, being in this new, one of the biggest like landmark energies of what it is about is that suddenly everything, and there's a lot of people who are over this line now. There's a lot of people who in this past week have noticed that their lives have completely changed, and what's coming into position is there was strife, there was discord, there was, you know, like twisted ankles, car accidents where your face is being shattered. There's been lots of things happening to people that are just break and throwing them to the ground. But those people are the ones who are kind of taking those first steps into this new right now. And I was told how, there's so much I want to say. I hope I can even make this make sense, because there's too much to say right now. But there's like, when things first integrate into a new kind of learning, you know, so we'll say in the 60s, you know, and then when astrology and free speech, I mean, I put astrology first, isn't that funny? But that is when people were really, you know, if you're born in the 60s and 70s, all of us grew up with metaphysical books everywhere, you know, because of our parents were in that. So we learned that. But that was that, you know, and then we were, you know, doing things like, you know, farming and for the tribe and making everything from scratch, and, you know, all that stuff was birthed then. And what happens is that with the flow of things and how different everybody is in their consciousness states, things take 50 years to get to the point where then everybody's following that way. So there's this kind of, I don't know, it's 50 years, and it's this classic cycle of when something's introduced that's new and different from everything else, and then how long it takes for the majority to be on board with what this is introducing. So we're in that right now. So basically what's happened now is some people now are crossing over in it, but it won't still be. But actually with this one, I was told, seriously, this has been the most fascinating week of my life, but I was told that it's actually going to be about 20 years, because everything is going that much faster. And we can be like, oh my gosh, 20 years, that's crazy, that'll take forever, but really it'll be over in a blink. Everything is happening so fast, and it doesn't matter. You know, we don't have to think of that as a negative or a bad thing. It'll be 20 years soon, and everything that people are fighting for now is going to be the mainstay, and how it is. And you know what's happening right now with the collapse of the systems is that what's happening with, I didn't finish that one landmark thing with what it's like when you have moved into the new earth vibration, when you have like passed certain tests, that now you're just vibrating differently and you're thinking differently and things are happening differently in your life. But the one landmark thing is that you switch your perspective to looking to the solutions in things instead of giving them this big global negative definition of oh my gosh, I can't believe that's happening. Did you hear what they're doing to these pigs? They're burying them alive. They're da-da-da. So are these kids, oh my gosh, this thing with these kids are being snatched up and then sold sexually to like 40 men a day, and they're 12 years old having sex with 40 men a day and every day, and someone's making all this money off of these kids that are stolen. So there's all these things that we can get so worked up about the newspaper headline of what this thing is about. But now we're just going to start saying, you know, how do we train men to not want to do that with kids? How do we train kids? How do we teach kids to value who they are so that they wouldn't fall prey into these hands of these predators? Because there's a specific personality that they get. It's not just a random kid. It's a specific kid that's already known violation, that's already not getting attention and love. So everything, I don't really want to get into every one of those categories, but everything, we're finding new ways to look at it in the point of view of how can we fix that? How can we change that? How can we not just bring awareness through picketing or something like this, but how do we get in there? How do we get into the systems to change things? So it's our point of view. It's like, you know, something like if the water, you know, because basically what's going on in the world right now is basically a pipe has burst and all this water's leaking everywhere, and then the people who created what caused the pipe to break don't want to change anything. So they're kind of just like letting it still happen, and we as a nation have to now come forward and say, this needs to be fixed. What can we do to fix this? What can we do to train people not to do this? What can we do to bring in a different kind of world that would never even think about doing that? Like I say with the sexual abuse thing, like I dream of a world when, how do we get it to be a world where, you know, men thinking about sex with children is the same as you imagining drinking battery acid. Like, you want to drink battery acid? Oh no, you would never do that, you know? So like that's what we need, is that kind of mentality with adults and children in the sexual arena. So I'm so much too all over the place, but all these things, now what's happening is, okay, so we all have been wired now to think more positively about whatever we have to deal with. Same thing, I sprained my ankle. I didn't think about, oh my gosh, this messes everything up. I'm already so behind. This is going to put me so behind. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. Oh my, I had that planned. Oh my, I cannot believe this is happening to me. The old way dealt with things like that. And the new way says like, oh my gosh, what do I need to hear? Oh my gosh, let me put my foot up. Oh my gosh, this feels really good to just stop and take care of myself. And oh my gosh, now I'm not even thinking about any of that stuff. What a great opportunity for me to reboot, for me to clear my mind, for me to come back to my center and go out in the world a little more focused and on purpose with what I'm here to do. So I instantly looked at it that way. So that's, you know, an example of how this new perspective that we all have right now is that we're just looking at things differently. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And we're not going to be so much necessarily thinking that we're doomed or this is such a horrible thing and I can't believe I have to suffer so much. We're still more like, okay, I'm learning from something from this, and what has happened in this past week, and actually several weeks before I was first told about it, but our humanitarian hearts have been woken up. And what this means is that we are not thinking of the money factor so much, and I need to go into that again in a deeper video, but that's one of the core things that's leaving us too when you go into this space of how can I serve you, instead of how could you do something so horrible, how can I bring this into right action, is the yes kind of way of looking at it. How could you have done that to our oceans is the old world way of looking at it. The new world way is, what can we do to fix that? What can we do to heal that? What's natural that can eat that whatever and whatever? What can we da-da-da? So our minds are open to solutions now. The old world way is, you know, having, and not really, but this is an example, but you sit on the side of the road and you get a flat tire. And then you just sit there and think, I can't believe this. This is so unfair that this happened. Da-da-da-da. What's wrong with these roads? That pothole back there, if that would da-da-da. Or instead, you just go, you know, okay, how do I get this fixed? How do I get myself back on the road? You know, instead your focus is, how do I get back to the day I was wanting to have? What do I need to do? Okay, I take care of this. I take care of this. I do that. I do that. Okay, all right. We're done, let's go. So it's, if you caught that, it's just a different bit of a twist. Instead of, oh my gosh, poor me, this sucks, blah, blah, blah. You just do what you got to do. And you just move forward and accept that, you know, there's a lot to do to right this ship of ours, but we can't just sit around and do nothing anymore. So I want to do my part. And that's where the humanitarian heart is being awakened in us, to kind of make us think about what we're really good at, or like, you know, what we're really here to do and what really here to offer people outside of anything that relates to money, and instead just fully relates to what my gifts are and how I can use them, and what my gifts are that I learned from my earth walk thus far. You know, our gifts are things that came from our childhood. Our gifts are things that have just naturally rolled into our lives. Our gifts are like these things that are like bumper cars, and when we're in the path of our gifts, the bumper car just keeps kind of rolling towards us. You know, it's curving it in a certain direction. It's not fighting it. It's not blocks. It's not a rough edge of banging your head against the wall. Not that you're trying to make these things work and they're not. It's nothing like that. It's where it kind of flows to you. You just kind of meet the people. Things just kind of line up. Everything kind of comes together. So what is happening with these eclipses right now is the very first moments of these new seeds are being planted in us that relate to what is my real gift to give. And also just kind of opening your mind to how can I serve and make a difference. And I wonder if I should tell this now. I'm so confused as to, because I've kind of wanted to put out a whole video that's just on what is this, what's happening as we're moving into the new earth ways right now, this very moment. You know, so I kind of want to talk about that. So I'm confused if I should just keep it astrology or just do energy. I also wanted to like mix these up a little bit and do them on my terms and not think of them as oh, astrology videos, or, you know, I just like to talk about stuff. And that's kind of something I've been thinking about too. And also, oh, and just so you know, I do not have lip liner on. I have a really chapped lip. Ow. That came with the twisted ankle and chapped lip at the same moments. But I can tell you that I feel so much more like myself again. Like, this was the greatest blessing to have my ankle twisted, because it just hooked me up to the ultimate source, instead of like I've just been in automatic work, you know, and like not really looking up, just kind of looking down. It's almost like texting and that kind of thing, where you just really, when you're working that much, you kind of lose the grand ultimate connection to, you know, this other thing that we can be connected to. So I got to be reconnected to it, and it feels so great. And You know what? I think I'm just going to tell you about it, and it is what the astrology is, so I just still want to like put it on a better formatted video where I'm not like, and I wonder if I should, you know how I am. I keep coughing too, though. Okay, so all right. Okay, so one of the most exciting pieces of news I got, and this is so beautiful. So now that we are all going to start thinking about what our unique contribution is, I can tell you that the people who have suffered the most, the people who have found that nothing is working out, I've had to struggle for so many years. I've had no money for so many years. The ones who are really feeling like they've had this kind of long-term, kind of difficult transit, you guys are the ones who are the most, who are going to be getting your assignments soonest and over the next several weeks. It could, I mean, it could really kind of unfold mostly over the next 6 months, even like the next 4 to 6 months. But your new assignment is coming. And when it comes, you are going to feel so content and so at home and so blissed out and so like, of course. And the reason I wanted to start with that first is because what I was shown is so beautiful, and I can't wait for you all to really kind of like digest this. And I'm putting it into a book for my class and for you guys later, but to really kind of help us tune into what is our soul's purpose work and what is that thing that we're here to offer. So I have all these kind of ways to like better understand it and narrow it down and see it. And the reason this has to be created is because the internet has really changed the world, and it has changed it in the most wonderful ways. I'm able to reach you guys because of the internet. So there's wonderful things that the internet has done, but there's also a lot of other things that are not good and that are now like patterns that we have to retrain out of people now. A lot of them, like I said, so much of them around sex. Everyone who has a past or a gifts with sexual kind of healing, with, you know, especially like men coming forward who are teaching the divine feminine for the woman, you know, men who are doing it for women, and awakening things and kind of freeing that part of them. Every person who's doing any kind of sexual healing kind of thing focused, you know, on that is going to have their assignments unfold really quickly for them, because that's like the top needed thing that we have out there. And people who know this and are really good at it, you know, they're going to be pulled into positions where they're doing it much more, and it's very focused, because the internet has also introduced 1,000 interests. Like, we can reach anything. So if we have that, you know, one of the symptoms of this internet is that it's created people with having social anxiety, not really having friends, not really doing things outside of this world, staying very private. So that's coming out again, and we're coming out again with the people. We're socializing again. We're making friends. We're hanging out with people. So that's a big shift that's going to be happening. But let's let the train go by, and I'll remember what I'm saying. So socializing more, but the thing is by being on the internet so much, we now have 10,000 interests, and what is happening is that people are like, oh, I want to do what you're doing. I want to do what you're doing. I'm going to try to do what you do. I'm going to do what you did. I'm going to start a website. I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to put my stuff on Etsy. I'm going to da-da-da-da. And then so many people go out there and do that, and then nothing works out, and they don't get sales, and they're so optimistic, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm so stoked, this is going to be great, and then it doesn't work out. So that is because of the interest category, and that's because we are more focusing on things that give us interest and not really focusing on things that are our gifts, and mostly because we don't know how to use our gifts. Like, when we look at our real hardcore gifts, we tend to be like, how do I make money though giving love to people? Or, you know, how do I support myself being a loving person. Like, that's my gift. How do I make money from that, you know? So the first thing that's changing in us because of the money thing is that now we're not looking at that stuff in terms of money. So the, you know, the golden rule of that, you know, pondering is not to look at anything in the form of money anymore. Because what I was shown is that, building up to this, I'm going to call them acorns because they looked like acorns and the bottom shape kind of fit into the top shape. So we were all a bunch of acorns, and everyone's acorn was basically holding all of the people that they are here to impact in the world through their soul's purpose work. So you could clearly see all of the people that you're here to affect. And when you line up to that, when you line up to knowing that, you know, these are the people I'm here to affect, this is the area I'm supposed to cover, this is the topic I'm supposed to talk on, you completely like become encased in the acorn, and there's a stem on top too that's balancing you. And when you're balanced in it, when you are accepting that this is my acorn, this is the size of people I'm here to impact, this is the job I'm doing, when you truly accept that, then you kind of, you come to this really kind of neutral point and nothing phases you anymore. So you're not worrying about money, you're not worrying about all these other things in life, they just don't concern you. You're doing what you love to do, so you're kind of flowing in this other way within your acorn and everything's all good. Now, what happens is that the first thing you have to understand, or another thing you have to understand, is that these acorns, it doesn't matter about size anymore. So we're not going towards, oh, you have a bigger one, I want to have a bigger acorn. It has nothing to do with that. And that's another thing with losing the addiction to money, is also losing that addiction to saying fat is better, thin is better, big is better, small is better. With these, big is better. With that, small is better. With this, big is better. You know. So just kind of taking that away, of just because somebody has this huge acorn doesn't mean you should feel kind of any envy or any kind of judgment or jealousy over them having a huge acorn. And a perfect example I wanted to share is with, and I don't really know how you say her name, is it Esther Hicks? Or I feel like there's something else, there's these other names with it, but people always tell me I should read, I should listen to her stuff, or read her stuff, listen to her stuff. And I can tell you, in like the 15 years that people have told me that, I've probably listened to about 20 minutes of her stuff. And the first moment I did, I instantly turned it away because I could tell we're bringing through information in the same way. And I could tell that what she's talking about are the things that I'm going to naturally bring through on my own. And I'd rather do it organically than hear her say it, and then it won't be organic from me. So I never went to her again, and will never, because it's too similar. And what's the point in me if I'm just like talking through somebody else's voice of what they already said? Like, to me, that doesn't make sense, because you know, our thing is where we're unique. It's not where we're copying somebody. So as it comes for her acorn, I don't fit in her acorn. You know, I'm not in her acorn. I'm not here to be influenced by this person. But does that mean that acorn's bad? I mean, it doesn't have me, right? But does that mean that acorn's good or bad? I'm not in it. So, but it's a huge acorn, right? There's a, you know, she's affecting mass loads of people. So I want you to grasp that too. So there's no judgment with the sizes, and eventually when you are solid in your own thing, you're not even comparing that. You're always knowing, I'm here to impact and make a difference for these people. You know, these people are the ones I'm supposed to impact, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what anybody else has going on in their little bubbles. But what has happened is that what we've done is, and especially because the internet says, hey, start a website, like I said, start a blog, start an Etsy, you're going to be famous, you're going to da-da-da. So everybody is reaching for all these things, and basically what you're doing, if you can imagine, you're in your acorn, but you've reached out, you know, trying to reach into somebody else's acorn, and what it's done is it's thrown you off balance from your cord. So your cord is cricked, so it's not able to really juice up your body with those feelings of, I love my life, I feel safe, this is what it's supposed to be, I'm doing my part, and life is all good. So we crick there's a stem at the top of this acorn, and you know, if we're reaching out to what other people are doing or reaching out to these other things, then it's cutting off our life force in a way. And that introduces doubt and fear and something's wrong with me. Because when you're in your acorn and you know I am here to affect this many people, and I'm not saying you're going to know all these people, I'm not going to say you're going to be shown all the people you are going to affect, but you will have a basic feeling of how big your acorn is. And you probably even know right now with me even saying it, you can probably really be like, gosh, maybe I'm, you know, not supposed to go big time and, you know, be online and be a presence and, you know, all this kind of stuff. You know, because when you're tuning into what you're really here to do, and when we're talking about, you know, what your soul's purpose work is and what you're going to offer the world as a healing agent, it's not something new that's just going to come to you. It's something, like I said, that goes way back into childhood. So it's something that is, you know, from long ago, and there's a reason for it, and it relates to the path that you walked. So it has similar things to it where you're like, gosh, I did learn that skill when I was a kid. How wild that that's what I'm here to do. So now that you know your acorn size, we all have a little acorn size. You know, it will take some time to kind of understand that, but what you're going to do is, you know, think about all those things you've done. So you've tried to get a website out and nobody's come. You created all these earrings and nobody's bought them. You doing all these tarot card readings, not really making money from it. Do know that, you know, those are all kind of really big interest things that a lot of us have. So go into, again, what is always giving you kind of like a bumper car, curving you into something? What is always drawing you into some space? What is kind of, you keep getting pulled into this kind of thing. And again, don't judge what kind of situation it looks like, because honestly, a lot of us now are going right back into the old world system, but we're wired in a new way so that we're going to start being like mold or fungus or something that's really good, but it starts growing within these system structures. So now we're turning around and we're going back into some of these jobs that maybe we thought that we would never do again, or, you know, we didn't want anything to do with it. But we have to understand that we didn't want anything to do with it because it was done in the old world ways. So yeah, it sucked. You know, yeah, it didn't really make you happy, but you very well may be someone who is now encoded to put the new into that. So to now have to go back into it as this new person, and this is what's going to happen as we cross the line into the new earth vibration. Once we start vibrating at a certain way, we get like kind of in a way downloaded, but it can be over time, but where you just start making sense of things and seeing how, like, I need to be doing this other thing for some reason. I don't, if I think about it, it doesn't make any sense, but my body's just telling me, like, I need to give it a try, or I need to go back in there and do it in my new way. And this is why we need everybody turning around and going back into the old world, because we need to now birth the new one through the wisdom that we have and the memories of how life can be when it's looked at the way of having positive outcomes instead of always looking at everything as having negative outcomes. Because the old world sees everything as negative. I need to protect myself. I need to defend myself. You're going to hurt me. Like, that's old world way. New world way just accepts that there's something to this, that there's healing to this, that there's magic beyond what we know, but that there's good that's going to come out of this. I also too wanted to let you guys know that I just saw, like, nobody has to worry about anything. Like, nobody, not one of you. I'm looking at the thousands of you out there right now. Not one of you. No, not you, and not you, and not you, because you think you're unworthy, or you're not really gifted, or you don't really know what to do. You know, every one of us is, you know, and it's that whole kind of silly thing of like, well, it's not silly, I didn't mean it like that, but everything that's overplayed is always That's why I stay almost completely tuned out. I have no idea what's going on in the world. I don't do anything on the internet except work, and so I'm really kind of clueless. But everything is okay, and everything is better than okay. And we've finally reached that point where the balloon bursts, you know, and a couple days ago the balloon still looked like it was taking air, you know, and then it just burst. So we are at the first steps of the rebuilding, which is not is not going to be easy, but it's going to be so much fun because there's a new just enthusiasm with us to handle what needs to be done, tackle what needs to be done. How can I fix that? How can I make it better? How can I make it so that these pipes aren't bursting? You know, maybe someone doesn't have them buried deep enough in the winter or something, or like, what can I do to change that so that that effect does not happen? And through all these little things that we're all going to start putting ourselves in and start talking about other ways that it can be, and showing by example how living this more positive life where you just expect good things to come, even if things don't look like they're that much the best. You know, you sprain your ankle, you don't instantly think of that as being a blessing, but now I want to title a book with that, about how that changed my life. You know, like, this has been the best thing ever. You know, so when you start walking out in the world with this new way of just like not needing to get so mad at people all the time, not needing to always be so like, I'm so pissed off, nothing works out, this world is so unfair, everybody else gets but I don't, and you know, and all the things that we get into, you know, when we can just stop doing that, not lessen it, but stop doing it, and just kind of like trust the flow, understand that it's happening, and see that everything is not out to hurt you or cheat you or stab you in the back, but this new way that our minds are being wired right now is to have a higher perspective on why everything is happening, you know, and just being like, this is, oh my gosh, this must mean another amazing thing is happening. Oh, and I should even tell you what I did, because when I was up on my feet, or, you know, and resting, and all of a sudden, oh, this one girl who came to see me, we just became friends, and when I twisted my ankle, all my homies were out of town. Like, all the people that I'm closest to, including my landlord, everybody went out of town, which I said that before. I was like, oh my gosh, we're in eclipse window season and everybody I can count on is leaving, and I wonder if something crazy is going to happen to me. Like, I said it because I was like, this almost sounds like a perfect storm being lined up. And then boom, I twist my ankle. So my new friend comes over, and she was telling me how that house that I'm moving into, that she wanted to move into it at first, but something didn't work out, and something in me just said, oh my gosh, was this supposed to be your house? And then she's like, oh no, da, 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 da. And then I, you know, kind of just started thinking about it. And then I was like, well, if I could have anything, what kind of house would I really like? You know, and I went and I just pictured it and I envisioned it. And then I was like, well, let me go see if there's something else on that same street, because I want to be on that same street. It's a special, hidden, artistic, creative, but isolated street around Santa Fe County. And so I was like, I want to be on that street. And I went to Craigslist, and there were 3 of like the most dream come true houses I would ever want to live in, all on that street, all available. It hasn't been like that forever. And so then it just got me. I was like, gosh, there's so much more than I would want to spend, though, or that I've ever spent. And then through that process, I just ended up being like, oh my gosh, you know what? I don't want to live in that house that was like red carpet, easy as all get out. I didn't have to do anything to get it. But I still ended up turning it down, because now I'm working on getting another house on that same street, but with more of the things I want. Like, I want a lot of windows, and I want French doors in the office, and I want da-da-da and da-da-da. And so I really, in having that time, I, you know, pulled back and was able to see, you know what, I'm creating this life of mine. What do I really want? But also doing something really shocking, like giving away this great opportunity that nobody would do. But something in me just said, no, that's not the right house for me. That's not the right house for me. You know, it's also too that it's right next door to two big people in my life. It could just be that I need hella more boundaries than that. That could be like bottom line. That's why it had to happen. But now I am like, you know, wanting to upgrade and get something nicer. So that was a message too that I was hearing to tell you guys, is that, you know, we're going to be, something is unraveling in all of our lives. Everyone, it's unraveling. It's coming apart. And part of you might be looking at that and feeling fear from it falling apart, but I know that there's still another part of you that is like, this is leading to something better. I just know. I mean, I don't see it yet and it's not here, but I just know that something better is going to come. You know, so that recognize that you are in that space. You are kind of like, but I think that I don't see it, but I just know something good's going to come from this. And with that, when that's happening to you guys, that's when I was told that everybody is being asked to really kind of go even beyond what you thought was possible, you know, and really just like, and it's hard to do that, you know, because you're like, but I've never had it and I've never seen it, so how do I manifest it? So it's not the easiest thing to do, but you're still being asked to do it. You know, you're still being asked to go, what is exactly that you would want to be really happy? You know, what exactly what you need to see in your life, what does it look like? You know, and I did that with these houses, and now I'm just kind of like picking which one do I want now. I'm like, which one's going to be for me? But they're all just gorgeous. They're all like things that are beyond anything I would have thought was possible. And now I'm like, I think it's possible. I think I should count on that. I don't think I should go, you know, just to the one that's okay and, you know, this and that, but the one that's like deluxe and like, you know, something I would have never expect to be living in. So don't be expected if surprises come like this too, with this energy, where you're just totally turned around and you know, maybe even making decisions that others don't like, or others aren't handling as well as you. But if you feel like, I just know I have to do this, and I know I have to do this way, and I know I can't follow through, and you know, you just really got to go with it. And yeah, so these times, if you didn't catch my point, are very exciting right now. We're all getting new assignments, mostly people who haven't had things work out very well. You're just going to start to kind of feel out what your acorn size is, and you're just going to start, you know, because if you're trying to do something online because you think, oh my gosh, I have all these important messages, I want to share this stuff, I'm going to start a website, I'm going to talk on Facebook, I'm going to da-da-da. If the bumper cars have not already been steering you towards that and just bringing you people and growing organically and people talking about you, and if you put yourself into it and it did not automatically start doing the bumper car kind of thing, that it's probably not what you think, and you might be going beyond your acorn. So it could just be like you're here to affect, and this was something that you guys aren't going to see this, and it was just something that was shown to me, but you know, that you can actually see them as the people that you are going to affect, like you're here to affect those people. But because all these acorns fit together and all this stuff, by you doing your soul's purpose work, you're affecting all these people in your acorn, and then they are going out there and affecting all the people in their acorn. So you get why it's really important that we honor what we're here to do, because we're taking responsibility for all these people, knowing that whatever we share, whatever we do, whether we go into some social work kind of thing where we're in there teaching them kids how to cook or whatever, but that when you're in there doing that, what was I gonna say? I started seeing all these things of people, the jobs, and because there's so many of them, and people are like, I don't know what I could do, and I'm like, oh yeah, trust me, you do. Oh, so it's not necessarily that you need to see all the people that you affect, but if you just kind of let your mind play with that, like, I'm here to affect all those people, and they're counting on me because they can't affect the people they're here to until you affect them. And that won't be for all of them, but some of them it will be. Some people are counting on you, you know. And when you think about all the jobs out there and all the systems, manufacturing, everything that's government, You know, police officers. I so saw this thing about how, you know, they were even dressed different. It was kind of hip, you know, they looked hip. And they had this whole different energy of not where we're fearful or we hate them, but they had a new energy of where they weren't saying who's lying, who's cheating, who's doing something bad, looking for danger. Instead, the cops weren't doing that, and they were looking for like that everything's okay. Everything's okay out there. Everybody's having a great time. Everybody's doing what they can. So the police officers are going to start speaking in that way and in their mind. No, everything's smooth. Everything's organized. And then so, but it's us who are going to come in and be those new police officers, you know. So it's us going into all those positions. So all those positions, there's a lot of positions. Like I said, the really big ones are the sex education for the kids, and sexual healing kind of thing for the adolescent boys, big time. And then for the older ones who still have it encoded that it's cool to have sex with a tiny little body. So there's a lot of jobs out there, and now it's just that we are saying, what can I do? How can I make a difference? And when you let go of the money thing, I can tie it all back up to that again. When you let go of the money thing, everything just starts coming to you. You might end up getting this government kind of, you know, because another way to look at that too is that the government are the ones who created these things that now have the pipes bursting. But the government isn't fixing the pipes because they don't have the same, yes, what can I do to heal this? They have the, you know, let's put core exit in our oceans. They have this like, let's take ibuprofen, let's take aspirin, let's take things to just get it to quiet down and not really worry about healing the problem. So we are the people who are coming in and saying, how do we make a change to make it so that the pipe doesn't burst anymore? What do we need to do to keep the pipe from bursting? So in that, like I said, you might end up getting some kind of government job working, going into schools, empowering the kids about sex. It could be starting as some kind of grassroots thing like that, but there's going to be money for it. And that's the greatest of news. When you really figure out what you need to do, the money will start flooding your way. You will get grants for it because the government wants us to start fixing all these things that they've messed up. They know that they've gone to the breaking point now, but they aren't wired for solutions. They're wired for hide it, deny it, bury it. So we have to come forward and come up with all the solutions. So don't even be surprised if you do, like, I'm going to try to go for a grant to go speak to youth and start up a daycare, or I don't know, whatever, start up a program in my house where they take care of or on my farm, and or whatever. So you'll go apply for this and you'll get it, you know. They're actually going, good, 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 we need, and the universe is working towards that too. So because we're working towards bringing healing solutions to everything, the energy is coming forward to get you there. The money is going to come forward to get you there. And then what happens too is then everything kind of lines up in your life where you don't worry about money anymore. You have enough, or you have more than enough, and you're just so satisfied by doing your soul work and knowing that you're doing what needs to be done to bring in the new way. Then that's all that matters. And you know, again, it goes back to that thing of like, especially right now in this moment, realize that you are here now. That is huge. And what we need is your strength, and we need your passion and your love and your commitment to want to make a difference, and to want to enjoy life, and want to believe the best about life, you know, and to want to believe that we can do something about that. We can fix that. We can take care of that. This is not doomsday. All is not lost. You know, that kind of mentality just is like leaving us. We don't have it anymore. We're like, what can I do? Where do you need me? Where do you want to put me? And you can even start sending that off there out of your body, like, use me. Like, that's how when I first really got put into my position, was when I said that. And I think I said it with some cuss words because I like to move energy with cuss words when it was things like that. And it would work like every time. Like I get a new job the next day or something. But, you know, really just kind of put that out there. I want you to use me. Show me what I'm here to do. You know, guide me to the people, to the opportunities, to the confidence within myself in knowing that this is my thing and I'm going to move forward on this and I'm not going to lose faith in myself. And, you know, everything's going to change for you quickly when you do. Like, it's a different playing field out there. And what's really great, too, is that as we get further into this, everybody's getting an easier way in because we're turning around and then reporting. Like, I'm someone who is here to empower, like, the big time players, and you know that about me anyway. You know I'm here for you all big time players. So it's so important that I live my soul's purpose, and that's why a couple years ago, or December 21st, 2012, when I screamed, like, use me. I'm sick of doing these things where I don't feel like I'm making a difference. Use me for what my greatest gifts are. And then my path just, like, was like a floodgate, and it has not stopped, and it keeps going. Because it's what I'm here to do, but also because I have to keep with the walking my own talk, because I have to be here to affect you guys. So I have to show up so that I can empower you guys to start making these new decisions and these changes in your life, so that then you are off there affecting the people that you're here to affect. And I'm not going to go into it now, but I have a lot of the new careers that I've been told about. That's where I want to get together. You know me, I'm like a billion things. I have that cardinal energy with what my career. So I need people to finish things for me, is my point. I'm like, I've got all these ideas, now you all execute them, please. But I'm really kind of focusing now because I know a little more, you know, what I've been told about what my soul's purpose is. I've even been told I need to be much more regular with videos. I need to be much more looking at you in the video. I need to not be so blurry and hidden. I've gotten a lot of messages about how I need to show up better too for you guys. But one of my million different creations is, but one's very much focused on the career and on the soul's purpose, and with all these kind of questions and guiding things that kind of open you to what is your thing. Because the closer you get to it in pondering is the more you enter this colder, hotter game where you are, you know, like the universe is always holding a magnet of what you're here really to do, and it's always shining on you. And he's always like, come closer, come closer. Yes, yes, hot, hot. That feels good, right? How does that feel in your body, right? So you are always kind of being guided to something. But we also have to understand that what we are here to do big time is not anything that's a most recent thing in our life. It's something from long ago. It's something that we learned when we first came into this earth experience. It's something that we have been walking and learning our whole life. So once you start thinking about that, things start forming and coming together a little better. So we've been on here for a really long time. I'm not even close to telling you everything too. So I'm going to work on the written horoscopes. I just want you to grasp that this is really like the biggest, epicest time thus far that we've had thus far, like right now, this here, right now. It's so important. So honor being pulled down, honor being shut off from things, honor any breaks, but also really be open to the story has not played out yet. And one thing I was shown, and it was so cute, and I was like, oh, I love that. But so we're living life through our bellies now, fully living life through our bellies. So what does it feel like? Does it feel like, you know, that house all of a sudden felt like it didn't feel good to me. I don't want the house. I don't even want it, you know. I have to honor that. I don't have any reason to say that, but my body said that, so it must mean something. And so we're living through our belly, and we are manifesting through our minds. So we're not using our minds to figure things out anymore. That's our belly. We're only using our minds to hold that kind of like, I know I can heal this, or I know I can start over and change my life right now, and I know I can do what needs to be done to have health in my body and to feel good every day and to enjoy all the miracles that are always surrounding us, so yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So okay. And this is me. I think I'm unplugging now. Way too much time. I haven't talked in a week, except to myself. Okay, so with that, I think we're going to stop. And I think I've told you enough. And I'm going to be working on the written horoscopes next. Oh, you know what else is so exciting? Gosh, if I even have time to do this. Okay, so since I'm completely behind, this probably should have been out like 4 days ago. I'm gonna do the full moon giveaway. The full moon lunar giveaway is going to be my Moon Journeys book, so you can learn how to moon map and you can read all this cool stuff that I wrote to help you learn about the timing of things, when things are gonna happen. I feel like the moon mapping and what I teach you how to do in this book is one of the most important facets for us to really kind of stay grounded and on path throughout the changes of life, so that we can let things go that really don't matter. Because remember, we're putting a lot of importance on things that don't matter, staying in the low vibration of things, and not like bringing solutions through, not saying, oh, that's why this is happening, okay, now I can move on. So in this book I teach you how to do that. So I'm going to do a giveaway for it, and then all day on Saturday there'll be 10% off. And I also am in the works with something that is so exciting, and it's going to kind of relate in a way. It's going to be with the Boho magazine. I do readings, in 3-month readings for the Bohemian Collective magazine, and I'm going to now start, because whenever I do them, it's kind of torture for me, because there's so much more that I can see that every sign needs to know, and I'm having to put it into like 40 words. So it's this thing that's like, I want to tell this, I want to tell that, I want to tell this. So I'm going to start doing those 3 months extended readings. So I'll also have it available where you can have 3-month extended readings, where I go into everything that you need to know, what to expect, how you're going to need to handle it. And so I'm going to offer those, and I'm going to really kind of base it around moon mapping. So I'm going to do a lot of the educational things in there. So say for this sign is going to be very focused on house 2, house 3, and house 4. And if you're in the moon mapping group and have the book, you can already kind of see where you're going to be focused at in life right now. So you're already going to have the heads up of 3 months at a time, and I'm going to do them every 3 months. And I'm actually also combining with Sarah Wilder, and I'm going to have her also give 3-month tarot card readings with them, and energy readings. And then, you know, from that we're also going to create these other things in it too. So it's going to be a really kind of special thing that's going to start May 1st, but it is going to tie into the moon mapping and understanding the chart with what I'm telling you about, so you can more like visualize and, you know, do things at the right timing, you know, and really kind of realize, you know, when the light's on and when the light's out. And then, you know, in doing that, you just suddenly don't worry so much about if you're wrong, if you have the right timing, if you're okay, if you're safe. You know, by doing this kind of work, you kind of always see that you're safe, and you kind of always see that everything's happening exactly how it should. So you kind of let everything go and you live life. You let everything go and you just enjoy the ride inside of your acorn. You know, you're in your flow. It's like that. I just saw like the baby in the womb too, you know, it's kind of like in this thing, but you're safe and you're not reaching out. You don't want to be out of the body. You don't want, you know, you just know I'm supposed to be here. This is good. So everything that I'm bringing right now is trying to get you nice and comfortable in that acorn, so that then you can start getting on that vibration where it magnetizes it to you, and then boom, 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 everything changes in your life. Boom, 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 you never worry about money anymore. Boom, 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 you love waking up every day to do your work. Boom, 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 you love your body. You feel great in your body. Boom, 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 you think everything is possible, you know? So you're like, well, I want amazing things to happen, and So I'm not going to sit here and worry about how I'm not going to be able to pay my bills, or I'm not going to worry about how could this be happening to me. I'm not going to worry about what I need to do. Like, that's not the way to be anymore. We just need to hope for the best. And we just need to know, oh, I'll figure out what I need to do when I need to do something, you know, kind of thing. So I'm pretty stoked. And I'm pretty excited to be one of your big-time guides, because I have been delivered with the messages of what I'm here to do. And I'm so excited. That's why, too, I was like, I need a bigger house. From what are the visions and stuff I'm getting right now, and remember, too, how I told you that, you know, part of all my visions have been coming true, and one of them was that my birth chart books would be on Oprah. Like, she'd get a hold of them and she either writes about it in her magazine or something. And I was telling somebody what part of town where I'm moving, and she's like, oh my God, Oprah has a house over there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Oprah has a house like where I want to be moving? And I'm like, see, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. She's like, oh yeah, you could probably just ask a couple people and they'll know where she lives. And I'm like, okay, it's gonna happen. So I need a bigger house. I need to dream of, you know, what I would never imagine as being possible. And we all do. Follow my suit. I'm here to guide you all. You get to see what I'm doing and then walk it yourself. Okay, so I'm going to get going. My chap lip is in pain. And you have a beautiful day. And I will be having written horoscopes for you very soon. And I so appreciate all your support. And I'm so honored that you guys are all inside of my acorn. I'm here for you guys. And I got to see my acorn and see all you guys. And it's a great honor. And you get that too, that when you feel like me and you know that too, you just think it's a great honor. So whoever I'm here to affect, what an honor. I don't need other people and other acorns. I don't need to go outside of what I think. I'm here for these people. How cool is that? Okay, I love you. I wanted to say that earlier. I'll do it then. Okay, I will see you soon. Okay.